we live in one word from that. It's a water management crisis, I believe, because we've always known that there is a water shortage. We've always known. I've grown up actually watching TV, and they would show me advertisements that there's a water scarcity. By 20 whatever, we might not have water. So we've known this. Like scientists have told us that there is a water scarcity out there. But now the problem is, how are we managing it?
So today I have a very interesting interview with a good friend of mine. We used to be co-hosts and co-producers of Voices of the South. So as you would guess, those who've been following my journey, I'm here in Gqeberha, also known as PE, nowadays GQ. So I'm here now, and I think I'm going to have a very interesting conversation. At Abrasive Conversations, we have interesting conversations, and this one is about the water crisis in the Eastern Cape, but Gqeberha specifically. But before we get into that, Aviwe, can you please tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, hello Jacob. Yes, my good friend. You know, we've been doing this. As you mentioned, my name is Aviwe Nontenja, you know. Born in the Eastern Cape, Mthatha. Clan names noZulu, Mchumana, Mpafana, Thukela. Umlamba ngawelwayo wela zinkonjana kuphela because it's namaphiko, you know. I think that's how it goes at the end. You know, I started in the University of Western Cape, Bachelor of Science in Environmental and Water Science. Further that, and did a postgrad in Integrated Water Resource Management. I'm currently working as a water analyst for a company called Tosca Lab, where we just test water for your water chemistry and then recommend you to filtration specialists. I am currently also a director of my own company, Means Enviro Consultants, where I give out statements of conformities on a certificate of analysis, meaning that if you go to a water lab and they give you out a report, I can then tell you if your water is conforms with the SANS 241 for drinking water. Yes, I also deal with GIS mapping, map making, yeah.
All right. So that I think it really situates our conversation, and you will, I think, will give us some insights. And as I mentioned to you, is that I don't want to have a scientific conversation. I want to have a kind of experience based on emotions, and where does this whole situation and how does people experience it. So let's start at the beginning. Can we call this a water crisis? When did this start, and where are we now? How bad is this?
Can we call it a water crisis? We live in one word from that. It's a water management crisis, I believe, because we've always known that there is a water shortage. We've always known. I've grown up actually watching TV, and they would show me advertisements that there's a water scarcity. By 20 whatever, we might not have water. So we've known this. Like scientists have told us that there is a water scarcity out there. But now the problem is, how are we managing it? How are we using this water that is so scarce? So I believe it's not a water crisis, but a water management crisis. We're not managing our water properly to ensure everyone receives good and yes, good quality drinking water. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that is actually a brilliant point when you say it is a water management crisis, because there's a lot of water, there's a lot of salt water. So when we're talking about water, then it's about fresh drinking water and how we store that water and the rainfall patterns and where that water comes from. So it's water management crisis. So that water management crisis then, where would you say did it start, and how bad is it currently in Gqeberha?
I could say it started it started up in the apartheid era. Infrastructure was not designed accurately, in the sense that not everyone was catered for, or further developments in terms of townships, those were not actually planned for. So that's why you find out that there are townships that don't get water. They didn't plan for it properly in that era. So now we have a government, useless government, but I don't want to take it there. Okay. But we have these people here that they're busy with their shenanigans, and we're suffering. That people were not receiving good quality water. That people don't even receive water now because of that. So it stems from that. I think the root cause would be the infrastructure from the apartheid era moving to the management now post-apartheid, you see. So yeah.
You're actually raising a very good point, and something that you're making me aware now that I'm so oblivious, is that the Constitution, one of the fundamental rights, is that everybody must have access to water.
Yes.
It's one of the basic services that local government is supposed to deliver. And you are right when you say during apartheid, the infrastructure was not designed in such a way that it services the majority of South Africans. So the infrastructure was designed in such a way that it services white people in South Africa. So when 1994 came, and with the Constitution in 1996 that gives universal water rights to everyone, that everyone has now a right to water, the government had to manage this, but have to cater to this particular one, and I think maybe that is where the water crisis have started.
Yes.
Could have started.
Yes,
because
there's huge demand for water now. There's a huge number of people influxing into the urban areas, and now there's a huge demand of water, and that the government can't actually, or municipality can't provide to those people. So yeah.
Right. So that's an excellent point. But you have been experiencing this crisis a little bit longer, because you were in Cape Town when we were counting, or we were experiencing it, and we counting counting down day zero. So please tell us about that. How that continuation affected you, because you started then and you came here, then and that's a long time now. So just to put it into perspective for people listening, is that this particular water management crisis in Gqeberha is not coming on this year.
Yeah.
It's quite a while. So just take us through that specific journey from Cape Town to here.
When we were counting down, everyone actually believed that we were not they were going to shut down, but I had a funny feeling. You know, I had a suspicion that no, man, something's going to happen. But that was just me. You know, maybe a positive or skeptic, I don't know. But to be honest, I never experienced the water crisis in Cape Town because I was in university. I was able to shower, I was able to brush my teeth on a daily, but whenever I would see on the news, I would find people that are standing in queues. They have buckets there, and I wouldn't understand, where is this thing happening? Because I personally am not experiencing it. But yeah, it did happen. I'm not saying it didn't happen. It did happen. When I moved over to PE, the experience was different. Day zero here was not an issue, even though they knew about it in Cape Town. They saw that this droughts are happening. It's a possibility that dams could actually be below pumping levels. They knew about this, but they didn't prepare for it. When I arrived here 2019, I used to walk. Actually, I still walk to work. But there was this garage that I passed. It started off as a small stream, as a small drop actually. I could see that there's moisture here, and I didn't take note of it in the first couple of days until it started moving bricks. And I was like, okay, now this is a problem. There's a leakage here. I called the municipality. Nothing happened. Like, yeah, we're gonna do something. We're gonna send someone out there. Sharp. I had to send pictures. Hey, look, there's a problem here. Please come and assist. No, we're going to get to it.
So when did they get to that specific
Maybe
problem?
2 weeks after.
Yeah,
And water is running continuously there. Water is just continuously running. And that was just not one experience, sorry. There's another one where it was the entire road was just flooded. So you see, it's just measures like that where you just take note that the drainage system is not, they're not maintained. Just basic services is not up to date. And that causes a huge issue when it comes to water.
Just back on that specific question, to that with the road and the bus, that is still part of then the kind of apartheid infrastructure and the piping system.
Yes.
Or was it in a new development? Is it still the old metal pipes, or the asbestos, or is it the newer kind of plastic? Which one?
It's not this. I wouldn't be privy to know if is it the asbestos one, but it's an old metal pipe. Yeah, I don't know from which era. It could have been just installed, but then it was not properly maintained. You see, or the place it was set, because cars normally also park there. Maybe a car bumped into that pipe and then caused it to dislodge, and that leak happened. I don't know what the actual cause was.
All right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So
there's just a lot of leakages happening, and I was reading even the news that there's a backlog to deal with those leakages. You see, so it's just small things like that. It's just small things like that.
So now I want to get into almost the crux of this matter. How long have people been experiencing then the drought in Gqeberha?
I wouldn't be able to explain that because I've been here for 4 years. But in the 4 years that I've been here, people have been telling me that there is a water problem, and they're afraid that they might be running out of water. So I think it's been going on for a long time. Concerns about the water crisis, yeah.
So when
water shortage.
Yeah. So when did it really hit home that we are getting here now? We are getting to a serious problem.
I would say end last year to beginning this year. I don't know what happened, but there were a couple of articles that came out, and then people started running around to find out the quality. It started off with the quality of the water. There were a couple of articles about the municipality water not being up to standard, and then people started flowing in, moving towards that, having the idea to move away from municipal water and drilling boreholes, because they feel that having a borehole would be better than municipal water. So yeah, it was just small influxes and ideas like that. It built up into the whole, let's move into testing water now. There's a water crisis. There's an issue with our water quality. So I feel like it started from last year and moving into the beginning of this year.
Okay, so when it finally hit home, what is some of the measures that the municipality took when the water crisis management became a reality? What happened?
I'm hearing water shedding.
Water shedding?
Yeah.
Have you experienced water shedding?
No. That's why I'm saying I'm hearing water shedding. But I will not lie again. The area that I live in is middle class area, so I don't think that I will experience water shedding at the time being. For now, maybe in the future I might, but at the moment, nope, I haven't. There was this one weekend water went off, and I panicked. I panicked. I'm like, what happened? What's happening? Is it day 0 already? Only to find out, no, there was a pipe burst and they were fixing it downstairs. So besides that, no, I haven't experienced water shedding, but I do hear it. I do see articles saying that there is going to be water shedding, and that there are areas that are doing this water shedding thing. Again, it could be that it is the locations, disadvantaged areas, you see, that are going through this water shedding situation, because even the damming, even the water supply, The water supply is even segregated. You don't get your water from one main source dam. So there's an area that gets its water from one dam. There's an area that gets its water from another dam. There's an area that gets its water from a different dam. It could be because of geography. I don't know. I don't know. But it could be mostly because of geography. But yeah, that could also be a factor into the whole situation. I wanted to say.
You see, so I've been reading and I've been kind of up to date with the whole issue in here.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I didn't read in the news is that different areas is getting their water from different storage facilities. So that is quite interesting. So,
but it happens everywhere. It's not only here. It happens in different places. Even in Umtata, you'd find out a certain location would get its water from Thornhill, because I know that there's a treatment plant here at that side. They'll get it from Thornhill treatment plant, and then that other area would get it from the Tambo treatment plant or something. That's why I said I think it's mostly just because of the geography, the situation with the dams. I don't want to go into it because I don't have that much information.
No, it's that's 100%. So you're saying that you are not as affected as.
Sorry?
You are not as affected,
yes,
or you haven't been affected.
Yes, I haven't been affected much by it.
Okay, so what do you think then? And as you think, is mostly affected.
People in locations are. People mostly in the locations are affected, because even with the watershed that I mentioned, it's an idea that they're drilling boreholes, for this watershed situation in Woma Park or Woma Extension, but it's the location side of Woma. So white people are not going to get affected. It's only black people who are gonna, or previously disadvantaged people who are gonna get affected, because colored people might be affected. You're Indians as well. Maybe they don't want to be classed as black. You don't know. There's this whole new movement now. Yeah, you Cape Town. You guys want to be free. But
it's interesting how you point towards me. It's like, you guys want to be free. It's like
Cape Town. No, I'm saying Cape Town.
You pointed directly to me.
Yeah, because you guys in Cape Town. Last time I checked, you from Cape Town.
Screw you, Aviwe. Look.
But yes.
Do you think that the municipality or this particular water management crisis could have been avoided in Gqeberha, but also in the city of Cape Town? Yes,
it could have been avoided, especially here in Gqeberha. I'm not too sure with Cape Town, because when this whole climate change and this drought situation, it could have happened drastically in Cape Town, and they could not have been preventative measures in place for that. But in Gqeberha, they witnessed what happened in Cape Town. They saw what day zero is a possibility, and they still played it chilled.
Yeah, just to give you kind of feedback now that you're not there anymore. Do you know that most of the apartments that you move in nowadays, you buy water, you have prepaid water. It's like you put in prepaid electricity, you have prepaid water.
It's a good system.
It's really a good system. You pay for how much you use, and you become really. You save water so much more, because now I know. Look, if water runs out, it runs out. So I have to go to that meter and check it, because it can happen.
I wanted to ask, how does that work though? Is prepaid 50 Rand, and then if my 50 Rand is out for the month, I'm out for the month, or can I buy tomorrow again? Or
so they give you kind of a leeway up until you go too far, and then you just cut. The municipality, the city of Cape Town, even have a system and they put all of that water management system in all of the people's thing. So if you're consuming too much water, they can cut it.
They'll find out. That's good.
they can cut it from a municipality's point of view. They can cut it. So they don't need to access your home anymore to cut it. It's all electronically. So those are some of the things that they've implemented in the city of Cape Town.
That's good. I think that's something they were trying to implement here as well, because there's a guy was a plumber at my place when I got my geyser fixed. He was telling me about they are installing smart meters now for your smart water meters. So it could be it's something that the municipality is implementing. So yeah, but again, slow process. It could be slow process, you know.
So how do you think, apart from those things, how do you think this crisis could be avoided? Apart from the management. So there clearly needs to be a water management system.
People. We as the people as well, because and that one is twofold actually. Myself, I'm to blame. If I'm not affected by the water and I use water carefree, I'll probably wash my dishes in 10 liters water, drain that water, and add another 10 liters on top of that, you see. So it's just educating people on the reality of that water is scarce. You know, that would help avoid this crisis. It would have helped avoid this crisis, but now it's not to avoid the crisis, but to manage it, to curb the impacts of the crisis at this point. Just educating people on the basis of water usage. You don't have to be in the shower for 5 minutes. You don't have to finish a song, because I know you finish a song because that's something I do. I sit in that shower at least 2 songs finish, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm done. Let me go. That's us wasting water. You buy dishwashing machines. I know for the middle class people, those who can afford it, buy dishwashing machines because they state that they are water saving. There's one that I wanted to buy. It uses 6.5 liters for the entire process. I was like, wow, this is an amazing thing. No more 10 liters. And I'm not lying, I actually use like probably 10 liters a day, and it upsets me. But it's my basin. I have to. It's my basin. But it's excuses like that, things like that. We have to curb those things and try to educate ourselves to move away from wasting water.
And the other thing that also is flushing toilets.
Yes, but I had a key point for the other for the next. But you see this flushing toilet thing? I have a big issue with that. Why are we flushing toilets with drinking water? Like literally, you can drink the water from the basin. I would not advise to drink from the main part you sit, but from the bowl, from the top, you can drink from that water. Easy, it's drinking water. No, but we flush it.
We in South Africa flushing with
Why?
Drinking water.
Why?
So maybe that's another thing that needs to be explored.
It was explored in Cape Town during the water crisis in Cape Town. It was a gentleman. He passed away though. A civil engineer, a UCT student. He came up with this system to use grey water. So you wash, you clean. It goes into a 40 to 50 liter bucket, and then it pumps into your toilet. From your toilet, you flush using grey water. You're cutting the wastage of drinking water from by flushing it and using grey water. That was a brilliant idea by that guy. But yeah,
unfortunately passed away under people say mysterious circumstances.
Very mysterious.
Very mysterious. So since this is not a Gqeberha problem, what do you think how can we in South Africa prevent it? Because what you rightfully said is that there is a more demand to have universal access to water. It's a goddamn constitutional right. We all need to have that specific right. But not everybody equally access that right, and there's a push from communities and voters to to have that right realized.
Yeah.
When local government elections come, when national elections come, basic service delivery still dominates most of the political parties' manifestos. It's like there's still people who doesn't have taps in their homes or places. So the water infrastructure is literally behind, but you also have a water management crisis. So how can we prevent future? What do you think?
Upgrade the infrastructure. We can't run away from. We have to improve on our infrastructure. Areas that don't have access to water, you need to find ways to install pumps or pipes for water to be accessible to those areas. Other ways to curb now the crisis itself is small house water management. You could use, like the idea that this gentleman had of grey water. We could use that. Simply go back to that. Implement that system. If you are affluent enough to be able to drill a borehole, use only that borehole water. Have filtration systems that, like, your main source of water should be that borehole water, not that I'm going to tap into the borehole water when the municipal water fails me. That, for me, you're part of the problem, you see, because you have the means when someone else doesn't have the basic right, or that doesn't have access to his basic right to have water, whereas you are just splurging water, like, if I can, I'll use this, or I'm going to use this for my garden. Let us, as water managers, as well as the government, a municipality as well, be hard on those people. If you're drilling a borehole, let's get your ID. Let's allocate how much water, or let's monitor then. Are you still within the basic, your general usage of water? Because you have your Schedule 21 where everyone can use it, and then you have your general authorization. So are you still within those two? If not, if you're using your excess water, pay for the excess. That's simple. You can't just use water. And I hear people will think, I'm going to drill a borehole now, and then I'm going to just start selling it. Whoa. Why are you selling this thing? We should text you first. You should register so that you get text, so that people know how much water you're using from that borehole. You can't just say, I'm drilling a borehole for my personal use, and then 2 months later you're selling the water. It's things like that. We should be able to monitor and be able, as the municipality, as well as people, to just monitor ourselves and be honest when it comes to using this resource, because it is a scarce resource at the end of the day. Yeah.
So, what about desalination plants, like coastal cities?
I knew that question was coming. Everyone asks me that question. Everyone asks that question. Desalination expensive. That's the biggest problem.
Is it expensive?
Yeah. Cleaning it. Because imagine, it's high powered, you have to boil. I think, you have to boil the water. It condenses. There's high sodium chloride, there's high salts there. So, yeah, when I'm in the lab and I am doing a total dissolved solids test, and I know that this sample has like high salts in it, you could just see the container is just crystallized. So imagine now this thing is running 24/7 and it's heating up and condensing. So cleaning it, maintaining it is just, I'm sure it's hell of expensive. That's why it's not feasible for them to go for it.
So it's not a cost effective way.
Yeah.
Okay. If there's
rain
anything,
harvesting, sorry. Rain harvesting as well as mist, yeah.
I know a small town on the west coast in the Northern Cape, Lepelsfontein. They're actually doing mist nets, and then the mist runs down a pipe into a system. So
yeah, that's another way. If you live in a very misty place, have your net there and just start collecting.
Yeah, free water.
Yeah.
If there's anything you could have tell the president, I see he was here yesterday for the first time. If there's anything that you could tell the president, what would you tell our president?
Just use the resources properly. In terms of, I don't care about the others. In terms of water, just use your resources properly, so that people could just have their basic right. Another thing, education. Like let's push for educating people on their water rights, on the basic right, on their National Water Act, the Water Schedule Act, as well as just educate people on water governance, as well as environmental governance, because the two go hand in hand, you see. So if we can just push for just environmental education, you're not getting my vote, but thumbs up.
You're not getting my vote. It's funny. And finally, Aviwe, is there anything that I might have missed that you would like to add at the end of this?
Not missed, but something that I've picked up from conversations with different people. People are saying that groundwater is the savior. Groundwater, let's drill boreholes. Groundwater is not our savior. It's not here to, it's not going to help us, because if I have a borehole and you have a borehole and your neighbor has a borehole, now we're just depleting that groundwater, and it takes ages for that to be replenished, unless now you're going to do artificial recharge. But yeah, that's a topic on its own. But groundwater is not the savior at the end of the day. On its own, groundwater has its own, it has work that it's doing naturally, and people are already tapping into it already extensively. So now we can't look at it and say that groundwater, let's drill boreholes, it's our savior. It doesn't work like that. It's not going to help us. We're just going to cause more problems in the long run.
I actually saw that specific issue that you're pushing. There's a documentary film I made, Gqeberha. It's about the redfin. There's a Trudeau redfin fish. It's endemic to the Trudeau water system, but to the Trudeau river. But they said the main kind of way the fishes, this fish lives is in the Berrydale area.
Oh, nice.
But the agriculture around the area drained the water to such an extent that the river used to flow permanently, then that dried up.
Oh yeah.
And it became for the locals, it became a source of anger, and there was protests and Cape Nature helping. But strangely, the river stopped flowing. And so when I did my documentary film, I actually asked them, where does this water come from, this river? And they say, from a hole in the mountain. So there's a fountain in the mountain where the water is coming from.
Wait, what?
So it's a fountain in the mountain, and then the water actually creates a river.
That is amazing.
So that water was a result of an aquifer, the river. So what happened is a lot more farmers started drilling holes into the aquifer when they extracted all of the water. So it was not a big river, but the river flowed permanently. So because the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Water Affairs said that if the river flew through your farm, you can, I think, get up to 80,000 liters of water. You can extract it and you don't have to pay it because it's for agricultural purposes. So when they extracted all of the water, the only solution was to
drill.
And they drew up the river like that. And it puts the fish, the endemic fish, into extinction. It's on the red list.
I was about to say that because of that now, I'm sure the department or the municipality or whoever gave the green go-ahead was not aware that this fish was situated in there.
They know.
They knew. What? Let me keep my composure, because I was going to say that if a proper impact assessment was done, then they were going to be told that you can't access this amount of water because it would cause problems for the fish that live in that area. Those fish depend on that aquifer, that stream as a source of food, travel, whatever these fish do. It's their ecosystem, you see. But now people are just tapping into that ecosystem and they're killing off that ecosystem, and that research was not done. That was the main fault for the municipality and the department, if they gave the go-ahead without doing an impact assessment. Things like that should have been done before drilling was done. So yeah, those investigations.
Do you know what the community say?
What?
Die mense samen, die mense. So the municipality and the farmers, the agriculturists, they're working together.
Yeah, I know.
So some of them looking at another way to boost the agriculture, and in local government it works differently, man. So, but Aviwe, thank you very much for this particular conversation. I think it's gonna be a great one. You did it after work when you're tired, but all of the things going around. So, thank you very much for coming through, man.
Not a problem.
I appreciate it. So, until my bro, we have another conversation sometime in the future.
No,
bye-bye.
We will. Very, very soon. But yeah, bye-bye. Thank you for having me, Jacob. Thank you, man.
Sure, bye-bye.
It's been a pleasure.